I think it's time to get on to framing in the windows or putting in the bucks. The window bucks or door bucks where there's a door are the things that really hold these log openings rigid. The corners are taken care of just fine by the corner joints, and the logs are all pinned together with rebar spikes throughout their length. But the openings here can tend to shift just a little bit if they aren't contained somehow. So that's what I need to work on today. First thing I want to do is move these braces in. I want to make these perfectly plumb and the exact spacing that I want for the window buck. And that way I can use these as a guide for my chainsaw and run the bar right down these as I trim the logs. I only want to loosen these bolts just enough to slide these over a little bit. I don't want to take any chance that the wall may shift while I'm working on this. Now, because of some errors when we were actually stacking these logs initially, this should have been a door opening and the building should have been reversed. We talked about that previously, but that means this is wider than our windows. So I've set this at the widest spread of the logs so I can get a good even cut, and I'm just going to have to make my window buck a little bit thicker to bring it in. So then I'll just take a double 2x6 on the edges instead of a single 2x6. Single is all it needs, but the double will make this the right size, and that way everything will fit more secure. The real strength for this is coming from an angle iron set into a saw kerf in the logs, much more so than it's coming from the window buck itself. The window buck is there to hold the window. The angle iron is there to keep the logs aligned. But now the angle irons are let into the ends of the logs, and there'll be a sliding fit which allows the logs to expand and contract or settle if they need to. Then the window buck is framed up out of 2x6s and it's installed into the wall. Now what all of this allows is for settling in the logs, which in a new log building is really important. These logs are so old, they're not really going to shrink any, and it's been up for so many years, it's had snow load on it. It's probably, excuse me, sawdust. It's probably not going to do any more settling, but it still has to allow for that. There's going to be a little bit of seasonal expansion and contraction, and there is a gap at the top. So if this does need to settle and come down, there's room for that to happen. The angle iron is cut into the upper log so it can slide up into that log if it needs to. Hopefully that all makes sense. So I need to get this plumbed up. I'll put a few nails into the ends of the logs. They don't really do much other than hold it temporarily. Then the installation is finished up with self-tapping screws through the window buck into the angle iron, so this all remains as one solid unit. And then because this one's a little bit too wide, I'll add an extra 2x6 to either side. Those aren't really structural, they're just really big shims, but they do provide a nicer surface to nail the window to.